Yeah, in this video I want to teach you how to make your worms completely addicted to coffee grounds. Phenomenal love affair with these red wigglers with the coffee itself inside the filter bag. They will digest the filter bag and everything that is part of it. Yeah, I want to teach you a different way of how to set up worm bins. I have 4 of them working magically already. I'm going to do number 5. You have to do the calculation how much material you actually have so your bins don't run out of energy. So what I do is I set up this area, really good soil, and I loosen it up. There's some organic matter here already. I level it out the best I can. And then I add a load of this. This, for example, is fig branches and leaves that have already decomposed quite a bit. I put that as my base. And you'll be asking, why would somebody put this material underneath a compost bin? And the reason is, I want the worms to have a safe zone. So let's say this bin gets too wet and the worms want to save themselves. So my material is very wet, so I want them to have the option to have a safe zone. Let's say a disease comes in here and the disease affects the bin. Then they can get into the ground here and save themselves. So what I need to do is create that access for moisture to leave the bin and for the worms to be able to leave. These totes from Home Depot, they have these nibs that are the lowest part of the plastic container. That's where I want to drill my exit and entry holes. I think these are like 19 bucks on sale. So, okay, we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes, and these are absolutely on the lowest spot. So what I do is I put this bin directly on top of this newly created base that is organically viable, so the worms can go in and out. I used to put filter cloth in here to keep my worms inside the bin, but that was actually a big mistake. So you have to go through that learning process of your worms going in and out of the bins to save themselves, to find new food. They will always stick around this area if they're not drowning in water. So I make sure that this bin is sitting nicely on this base, on this safe zone. Then I come in and I add a really dry mix of organic material, rice husks, fig seeds, many different materials in here. I want this to be quite diverse. I put this on the bottom so they have a little bit of a dry zone in here to start off. Any rocks come out. I basically set this up. This is what an existing bin looks like. It's a bit too wet for my liking, but look at that activity. Like, you can't complain about that. Look at that. This used to be a coffee filter. Here's the coffee grounds. So no complaint about how these worms are just absolutely prospering inside these bins. So I've got this set up to be dry, and my objective is to get a little bit deeper. And don't disturb them. Just basically take your pitchfork and grab what you need. So like I said, 1 scoop from every bin. And this weedy stuff, I don't know who put this in here. I don't really want that in the bin. I may do 2 scoops here. Okay. Then I'm going to add my first load of real compost, coffee grounds, banana shells. I keep the citrus out, but everything is game here. And it's a bit wet. You got to remember, these bins are always wet, so you can't let them get wet from the rain. It's just too much. So that's ready to go. I'm going to put a lid on that. And whatever you do, do not drill holes in this. Keep this super dry, because your compost, normally speaking, is always going to be wet. And you got to keep the dogs out of here. So these lids are really hard for the dogs to get off and other critters. So make sure you keep your bins nice and dry and well fed. You have to give these guys food. If you don't give them food, they will run away on you. So it's very important to keep this well fed. Yeah, I want to talk to you about why I have these worm bins, what they mean to me, why they are so important to my garden. And I want to explain it with an example. So somebody brought me some hosta seeds, and these are the hostas that have these enormous leaves. And this is 2 or 3 years old. And basically these hostas have done very little here, except for dying and to be completely eaten by disease. So what I did is I saved them by going through the compost and getting some of this great casting material, and I put it into this container. I filtered it, and then within, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks, the hostas came back from being completely, just the roots were left, and they're not growing anymore. Like, they're not getting huge like they should, but at a minimum I can keep them alive. So these worm castings are a little bit of a plant medic. You have a fruit tree that's struggling, and you take a scoop of this and you put it around the fruit tree, and all of a sudden you save the tree and you make it grow incredibly well. So that is the big difference, is that when you have this bandage or this material that you can use to improve the life of your plants, you're way ahead of the game. There's one additional very important aspect to these safe zones that you create underneath your worm bins. You can understand and know how healthy your bin is simply by, gotta get up, it's too heavy. Simply by lifting your bin up and seeing how many worms there are underneath your bin. I have one wet area here, and it's always this element of moisture. How much moisture is inside the bin? Because they will save themselves underneath the bin and find something that's drier. So this is a good indicator how healthy your worm bins are.